This week in the Complaint Corner, Star Wars, Justice League, and some other shit. This is Critically Complained. Hi, I'm Adam, and this is Steve, and first, we're talking Star Wars.
I'm
I say that way too
we're
often.
talking Star Wars. Actual relevant things happened this time.
This is an important thing. This is one of only 2 trailers for this movie, okay, everybody? So yeah, there was a new Star Wars trailer, as I'm sure everybody and their grandmother knows.
Oh yeah, this is not, you're not hearing that the first time from us, but...
Yeah, if you are, then what are you doing on the internet? Did you just get let out of your cave? Jeez. Okay, so Star Wars, The Last Jedi trailer. What did you think about it, Steve? I always go off first. I'm gonna let you go off first.
Fair enough.
What did you think?
I like Star Wars, as you may know, and I'm excited for this next one. That trailer got me pretty hyped, I'm sorry to say. And
oh, Steve! Oh, music to my ears! I love this. This is amazing. Okay.
Because I was watching, and I'm kind of like, okay, all right, I get you. And it's like, oh, Luke is there, and it's like, oh, he's all like a bummer now, and it's like, oh man, he's gonna change his mind sometime. Oh, it's gonna be such a cool redemption arc for him or something. He's probably gonna die or something, but we'll see what happens.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
And then like
with him,
Kylo was there, and it's like, is he gonna blow up his mom, or is he not gonna blow up his mom? And then like he was like, oh, I need a teacher, and he was like putting out a hand, and it's like, what? And also, Finn was there.
And Finn fought against Captain Phasma in this big epic like clash thing.
I actually had to rewind that because I thought maybe he had a lightsaber, but no, he just had one of those weird electric Tonfa thingies from the other movie.
The traitor stick.
Yeah, exactly. But
is it weird that I'm almost more excited for Finn versus Phasma than I am for like anything else? Like, I really like Finn, and I really want to see Finn kick the shit out of Phasma. Like, I don't know why, but like that one shot.
Clearly, they didn't throw her in the garbage disposal like they were supposed to.
Oh, they did. There's actually going to be an entire comic about how she got out of that garbage disposal and then went off on her own little adventure. I'm not joking.
Wow,
that's not a joke. There is a comic book.
Everybody. But I mean,
that is about how her.
I agree that I'm actually probably more excited to see things about Finn than I am about Rey, because honestly, I like Finn better. I'm kind of bummed out he doesn't get to be the Jedi, because he's more interesting.
Yeah,
but
I kind of like Finn too. Finn more. I still like Rey.
Oh yeah, but I feel like Finn's got the more interesting narrative. Maybe we learn more about Rey, it'll be interesting. But for the time being,
okay. And while we're, I have to say this about Rey. Okay, do you think that they were just trying to do like some trailer bamboozling? Like, were they just messing with us, making us think that Rey is gonna like join with Kylo?
Yeah, I think they were giving us some tricky shit. I think they probably took a voice clip from when she was talking to Luke or
something.
Luke or Leia or something, and they showed out Kylo putting the hand out from a different scene. I don't think they're really gonna try to.
It didn't seem like it was in the
that.
same scene. I feel like this whole trailer was full of stuff that like was just trying to mess with me. It's trying to make me connect to unrelated scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there was the stuff with. So let's see, there was Luke so Rey is doing some training bullshit, and then Luke is just like, I've seen this kind of power before. It didn't scare me enough then, but it does now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I could see that happening, but at the same time, it's like, you might be messing with me. Like this, that might be a completely different situation. Maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also a scene later where it kind of seems like Snoke and Luke are talking to each other, and it kind of feels like Snoke is killing Luke, which still could happen, but I really feel like Luke's not going to leave his planet this movie.
I don't know. I think he might. Maybe.
You think so? I feel like he's going to be more like a Yoda this time, where he's going to stick around there and she's going to leave before she's ready or whatever.
I'm really hoping that like Luke gets an action scene.
Well, I'm sure later
he
will, but I don't know how relevant he's going to be in this movie. I think maybe in the next one he'll pull a bigger role, if he's alive, of course. But I feel like in this one, he's going to serve much more of the, you're not ready, don't go, but I have to go, but don't go, but I have to go. Okay, I can't stop you, but you're not ready, kind of thing.
I suppose I could see that, but
especially
feel
since he's like afraid of her force powers. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, at least we assume.
Well,
but
but she's apparently like the next Force prodigy because apparently
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one
yeah,
can
yeah.
just be okay at the Force. You have to
I,
be a
I feel like
prodigy.
having I feel like having Luke just stay on the planet on. By the way, do you want to know what the planet's called? It's called Octo. I love that stupid
I'm
name.
glad that you
Anyway,
knew that offhand, Ado. Thank you.
but I really don't want Luke to stay in
Oh
Octo
no, me
because
either.
well, not just because of like I want to see Luke do cool
Oh,
things
I do.
because I don't want Luke to be the new Yoda. I don't want this movie to be just Empire Strikes Back 2. Like I don't
Right.
want that. I want things to be a little bit different. I'm okay with a few similarities, like that's fine, but I don't want it to just be kind of like, oh, Luke is Yoda and Rey is Luke, and like I want
Right.
there to
Right.
be more. I want a new
Well, then who is
story
Finn then?
with familiar. Oh, he's Han. He
You
has
think
to
he
be.
is? I think Poe is probably Han.
I guess maybe. I don't know. That's kind of weird. That's one of the things I like about the sequel trilogy thing is I like that the main trio they're not all carbon copies of like the original main trio.
Right.
Like like Leia is her own character, Rey is her own character, Finn, Poe. I can't take Finn and just put him into Han Solo's
No, it
place.
doesn't
It doesn't
work.
quite
No.
work. And I can't take Poe and just make him Han Solo either. It just doesn't work either. Or like I guess with Rey, you can basically just make her Luke, but I don't know. It's a little
I
bit
mean, it's a
different.
lot like Luke.
Yeah, she's the one who's most familiar, but whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Um.
Although, if we're
Oh,
being
and that's
fair,
another.
Anakin was a lot like Luke too. They seem to
I,
have
I
a pretty solid formula for Force
What do you
prodigies.
what do you think about Kylo Ren? A specific like what they're trying to do with his character in this movie. I think that I really do think I didn't believe it before. I believe it now. I think they're gonna do a redemption arc for Kylo Ren. I think they're gonna try to make him go back to the light
You
again.
think so?
I do. I really do. I think that like they were trying to make me think it, but I fell for it, and I think that that's what's gonna happen. I think that what's he's gonna be told to kill Leia,
Oh yeah.
and then he's not gonna be able to do it.
That's what I was
And
thinking too.
then
He's gonna punk out and he's not gonna be able to do it.
yeah, and then I think that Snoke or someone else in the First Order is going to kill Leia anyway, which would conveniently get rid
Yeah.
of Carrie
See,
Fisher.
that was one of the other things. I thought maybe he wasn't gonna do it, but maybe like in this new draft they'll actually have him do it. But I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
that's
But
possible.
I mean, she has to die because
See, okay,
life.
but
But.
the problem with that is that this film was finished before she died. Like
Right, but I
I
mean, like
don't
a
know if they
reshoot,
could do that.
you could change that in post if you needed to.
I suppose, assuming that she didn't have a major role to play in the rest of the movie,
Right,
I guess.
right.
But
Well, assuming that takes
yeah,
place towards the end, which I imagine it will. I imagine the
yeah,
space
yeah,
battle.
probably would. You're right. That's true. That's fair. I don't know. I really think that that's where they're gonna
I think
take
you're
his
probably
character.
right. I know nobody here, no one at home has heard me talk about it before, but I strongly dislike Kylo Ren as a villain. I know you know, but for the folks at home,
I know that.
I'll
Yes.
explain it. I don't think Kylo is a good villain. It's not that he's a flawed villain, because flawed villains are perfectly fine and usually, a more believable character that way. It's not that he's a bad villain. He's just bad at being a villain. Like he wants to be
yes,
a good
yeah.
guy, or he wants to be a bad guy, but he's constantly pulled towards being good, which is the worst kind of villain. Because it's not
Okay.
that if it was a good guy constantly being pulled to darkness, that makes him a struggling hero. But a guy who chooses to be the antagonist but has to fight himself just to do it is the worst kind of villain. Why are you a villain then? Just because he wants to ride on
okay.
Darth Vader's dick, basically. That's the only
You're
reason
right
he wants to
in
be
the
the bad
sen-
guy.
Okay, you're right in the sense that yes, he is a bad villain, but he is a great character. He's so we have seen so many fucking variations on a good guy who has dark tendencies. We've seen so
Yeah,
many
and
versions
you've never
of that.
seen a
I'm
bad guy
so
with good
sick of-
tendencies because it's a shit idea.
No, it's not a shit idea. It's someone who wants to like be this badass confident dude, but he has misgivings. He has doubt about himself, about his place in the universe. Like he feels out of place everywhere he goes. He never felt himself when he was with Luke. He was never comfortable with his father, who was always off running into somewhere else, barely paying him enough attention. His mother was always busy doing political shit. He's a character who he feels as though he has so much potential, and he's never been able to use it properly. And I find that fascinating. I love that about him. I love that he's a shitty villain, because you're right, he is a shitty villain, and that is entirely the point. I love Kylo Ren. I think he's one of the most interesting and unexpected not just Star Wars villains, but any kind of villain I've seen in a very long time. I think he's really interesting.
All right, I see where you're
Eh,
coming from. Agree to disagree, I guess. I'm
Fine.
not as steamed about it as I used to be. I just don't care for him that much, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
but
yeah,
I
okay, like
think
Darth Vader and the Emperor just being like the big ominous evil guy for the sake of being evil or whatever. I mean, maybe not Darth Vader so much, but your original interpretation of him. Fine, the Emperor then. Emperor, just the
okay,
case of being evil for being evil. That's fine and everything. It's not great, but for the purposes of evil government and rebelling for justice and whatever, that's kind of what you need for
mm,
this kind of thing, you know? Like, imagine if you're He-Man and Skeletor, you know, and Skeletor's, like, not 100% bad all the time. Like, maybe sometimes Skeletor has misgivings about trying to conquer Castle Grayskull or whatever. Maybe he, like, gives his employees, like, huge charity benefits on holidays or something, you know? Like, that's not... for the purposes of this story, they just have to be a bad guy. Just all the time,
I
twirling
see.
mustache evil,
I feel
like
like
Snoke.
yes, you're right.
Snoke
In a
is the
tradition,
right way to do it.
okay, sure, okay, but
Even though
that's
he's Jar Jar Binks.
it's a different kind of story. It's a different kind of villain. It's not something that you've seen 1,000 times. It's not as generic as what you're talking about. Oh, and that's crap. What was I just thinking about with? Oh, okay. Here, I have a perfect comparison with what you want. If we were to talk about Game of Thrones, kind of tied in, what you want is a character like Ramsay, who's just evil all the time, a total dickbag. You love to hate him, right? Or wait, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
You
that's the
love to
one.
hate him. But Kylo is more of a villain like Theon, where it's like he's conflicted. He has, good motivations and bad motivations. He's constantly at war with himself. He's constantly doubting himself and not sure what to do.
All
And it's
right,
only
okay.
once he starts to to have confidence in himself and to make decisions and be like, no, this is what I believe because this is the right thing to do, or whatever, the wrong thing to do, whatever. He needs to. He's a person. He's a character at a crossword. I can't speak. He's a character at a crossroads. Ugh.
Wow, you
And
just
he needs to
danced
make
around
it.
that sentence.
I know. And he needs to make a decision, and he did at one point with killing Han, but that didn't make him feel any better. And I think that
All
that's
right,
kind
okay, all
of
right.
where we
Let me
are
stop you.
now.
Okay, all right. I get where you're coming from, and that's a good explanation. We're just gonna have to agree and disagree on this one, but I see your point of view. For the record,
Okay,
I
fine.
also hate Theon. I think he's shit too. But that's
I'm not surprised by that at all,
yeah.
but
But I see where you're coming
fine.
from, so that's fine. But so let's just get back to the trailer then.
Okay, fine. Trailer. Okay. I think what I want to happen, if they're going to have Rey join Kylo, if that wasn't them messing with me, and if
Hmm.
that's actually going to happen, what I want them to do is it seems like they're really going heavy-handed into the idea of the Jedi are like too light, like the Jedi are wrong too, and obviously we know the Sith are bad, the Sith are wrong. What I kind of want to happen is I want Kylo and Rey to join forces and to go their own path. I don't want them to be Sith or Jedi. I want them to be somewhere in the middle, because it all
See,
ties back
that's
into.
kind of interesting. I kind of I have an alternative theory spin on what you said, but I'll let you finish. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it just won't take me very long. It all ties back into the idea of balance in the Force. We always thought that balance in the Force was the eradication of one side or the other. At least that's how we've been presented with it.
Yeah,
It's like,
basically.
the balance in the Force is when all of the Jedi were killed at the end of Revenge of the Sith, or when all of when the Sith were all
Yeah,
dead at the
because
end of
Yoda
Return
or
of the
whatever
Jedi.
kind of always presents it as balance is like the good guy wins, or
Yeah.
when the bad guys are
but
around, it's
but
disbalanced.
that's not balance. That's the
No,
opposite of
it's not.
balance. That's
But
that's that's one side or the other clearly being the winner. What true balance is the balance between the good intentions and the bad intentions in each individual person. And that's what I hope and what I kind of want Rey and Kylo to learn. It's not balance is about finding balance in yourself, light side and dark side together inside you. It's Jedi cut themselves off from the dark side completely. It's like no, we can't use the dark side ever.
even though it has way cooler force powers.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We can't use the dark side ever. It leads to hate. It leads to, you can't control yourself and yada 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 yada. And it's like, yes, you can control yourself if if you are constantly vigilant and if are constantly questioning who you are and who you want to be. It's a lot more difficult to walk the middle path than it is to just pick one side or the other, but that's the right path in the middle.
Okay, actually, so two things on that. So we know that Kylo Ren is like, the tits when it comes to the Force, right?
Yes.
So what if to really like be the best at the Force, you have to be a good guy and a bad guy?
That's interesting.
Because
yeah,
you kind of just have to pick a side. Hatred leads to the dark side, and then you just kind of commit to being dark side all the time. But like, what if there's like the best way to do it's on the in between? That would explain why Kylo and Rey are so kick-ass at the Force for no reason.
That actually is an interesting idea. It's like the reason they're so powerful is because they have both sides inside them. That you can't have one without the other, and if you try to have only one, it's like almost you're getting like a weakened version of the Force.
Right, because that would kind of explain why
that's
Anakin was such
idea.
a tit, because he was halfway there, and then he kind of went all evil.
Yeah.
So that would explain why that. But okay.
And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in the new canon, it's pretty clear that Darth Vader is actually a lot less powerful than Anakin was right before his fall. Like, Anakin in his prime was crazy stupid powerful. Like, it's like not even cool how freaking powerful he was. But like Darth Vader is actually significantly weaker in some ways.
I mean, it's not. It's obviously a limitation of the medium at the time, but we don't actually see Darth Vader do that much Force stuff. Aside from choking the odd grunt, he doesn't use a lot of the Force stuff. So maybe that's the most he can do now.
I mean, there's also the side of it in that like he's missing.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always
limbs.
an explanation you could use too.
Yeah.
But let's be fair, Yoda lifted up the X-wing without using his hand at all. Like it's just kind of your brain, not necessarily your arms and stuff. But okay,
the Force is complicated.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Okay.
Is what you actually mean to say. But okay, but here's my kind of spin on what you were saying. So I feel like, assuming that Rey does go to the bad guys to try to learn or whatever, even if she doesn't do it like out of evil, even if she just wants to learn what Luke refused to teach her, I kind of feel like a direction they could go, and this would work into Kylo's redemption arc, is that he would take her to Snoke, and Snoke would pick her over him as like the apprentice or whatever.
Yeah,
and that would leave Kylo pissed at the world again, and he would realize that, oh, okay, this guy really just wanted me for my hot bod, and he would go join up with the Resistance instead, or at least leaning more in that direction of, sabotaging the Emperor or whatever, And that would
I could see that.
So Rey could be the bad guy, quote unquote, and Kylo could be the good guy, quote unquote, just because of circumstances.
But it's almost more of like an anti-hero in a way.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't necessarily be fighting the Emperor because it was right or whatever. He'd be fighting him because, he was a dick about it. But that would make him the good guy, quote unquote.
That would be interesting. I still think that this, if not now, the trilogy should end with the two of them joining together to make a brand new order, something completely
new Force or whatever.
Yeah, a completely new order that is all about balance. I mean, in the old EU, it's called being a gray Jedi. I don't want them to call it that because I think it sounds dumb. But like that idea Jedi? To be when a gray Jedi, like it's gray is the color that
morally
is
in the middle. Sure.
Yeah, it's when you mix dark and light, you get gray, and the idea is that that gray Jedi actually can use the dark side of the Force. In the old EU, that hasn't been a thing in the new stuff.
Okay, but that's kind of a thing. So
But that's
well, I
the
mean, what
idea,
would be
yeah.
interesting about that is that would kind of become the new standard then, because as far as we know anyway, everybody who understood the Force is either dead or a bad guy at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, that's
So that
correct.
would be an interesting sort, because they both learned from Luke, and if my hypothesis is correct, they would both learn from Snoke, and they would have like the middle ground there. So I feel like that could be
Hmm.
like the next evolution of the Force, provided they decide to go forward with more movies. But I feel like 9 is probably where they're going to end it. But we'll
Oh
see.
no, that's not
You
true.
don't think so?
That's not. I'm telling you right now. No, no, no. They're gonna milk this shit until the end of time. Like, there is no end, Steve.
Star
They're gonna
Wars
be doing this
27. Rey's great grandchildren rediscover the Force after the 15th Order destroyed everything again.
pretty much. I'm just like, I'm like imagining Heath Ledger's Joker, like start, kill you. I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you and me are gonna be doing this for a long time.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god. Like, anyway, but I kind of lost my train of thought there for a
Star
second.
Wars is cool.
But Star Wars, we both like Star Wars. Okay, to kind of tie this back into this one trailer, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
good
I
trailer.
mean,
Oh, oh,
we got to see that new space alien thing
what'd you say?
on the Millennium Falcon.
Oh my god. Oh man, I actually tweeted about this. I hate it.
Okay,
I hate
when
it.
I saw it, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded
Hmm.
me of like a Mogwai bred with that one Digimon with the ears that digivolves to have guns and pants.
Yeah, I
That's
can
what
see
it
that.
kind of reminded me as a combination of.
Yeah, okay. See, when I first saw BB-8 in the Force Awakens trailers,
Mhm.
I thought it was dumb. I didn't like
The
BB-8 when I
ball.
first saw it. The ball. Yeah, like the ball thing. I was just like, it's so cute, I guess. But I will happily say that I was wrong, and I ended up really liking BB-8 in the movie. I thought he was cool, and I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good. Um, so I'm hopeful that this. By the way, those things are called porgs, like Porg, porg.
Mm.
And I'm hopeful that they can pull another BB-8 and make me like it, even though I don't currently
I'm
like it.
wondering what
But
importance it plays to the story.
I have no idea. I know that they're aliens that are native to Acto, which is, again, is the
Right, yes.
planet that Luke is on. Yeah. But I don't really know much else, and I've been kind of trying to not read too many spoilers for or I was gonna call it the Force Awakens for the Last Jedi. So I haven't been reading absolutely every single bit of
Oh
information
shit,
on
there we go.
every.
That's why it's called The Last Jedi, because there's not going to be any more Jedis and Sith. It's just going to be whatever that middle
Exactly.
thing is. Boom. Cracked the code,
Exactly.
Illuminati confirmed.
I really, really hope they don't call it Gray Jedi. I would really hate that. I want
Well,
like
that's
a
just
new
that's
word.
racist towards the Sith. They don't have any representation there.
Yeah. Well, a gray Sith sounds dumb too.
Yeah, okay,
So don't
how about
no gray.
Jedi?
Just
Sedi? Sedi?
the Sedi, the Sedi,
Jif?
the
The Jif.
Sithai,
The Jif.
the Jith, the Jith. I love it. Oh my god. But yes, this trailer. Oh, and something else I want to talk about with this trailer. I loved the music in this trailer. It was very good. You could hear some of Kylo Ren's theme, and you could hear some of Rey's theme, and they did like this weird combination thing, and it was real good. Two thumbs up, John Williams. You are a motherfucking badass. I love you. You're the greatest.
Way to make sounds with
Anyway.
instruments, buddy. You did it good.
Oh my god. So we're gonna move on now. Unless you have any other thoughts on Star Wars, this trailer
No.
is good.
Good. It's good stuff.
Much love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for Star Wars. Oh my
It's
god.
coming out soon, Adam. You don't need to wait that long.
No, you don't understand, Steve. Have you ever been so excited for something that it hurts you to think about it? Like it causes you pain to like be like, oh man, that's 2 months away.
I mean,
It's just
probably
like,
at some point in my life. Nothing comes to mind.
I hate it. Anyway, we're gonna move on to another trailer, and this one's not as good, but it's pretty good. Justice League, yay, Justice
Yay,
League!
Justice
Oh,
League.
it's not an episode of Critically Complained unless we talk about Star Wars and the DCFU. It has to happen. Oh my god. So Justice League, we got a new Justice League trailer, and this Justice League trailer gave us our very first look at Superman in the Justice League movie. And it was it was okay, actually. I will give them this. I am impressed with the way that they handled it. If you're gonna have Superman in the trailer, that is probably the best possible way to have him in the trailer without like spoiling how he comes back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spoiler alert for everyone who didn't already know: Superman comes back to life.
Yeah.
In case nobody knew.
Yeah, yeah. In case you somehow didn't know that, but yes, Superman is gonna come back to life in this fucking movie. Of course he is. But I'm actually okay. As much as I didn't like the way that Superman died at the end of Batman v Superman, like I don't hate his death as an idea. I just think that it was really rushed. Like I feel like they should have made Batman v Superman.
They really blew their load on that one. They should have waited.
Yeah, like they did like there was like 5 movies in that movie. Like they did way too much way too quickly.
Well, okay, I feel like the reason that they did that was because they didn't want to have him through the main conflict of the next movie. I kind of feel like they wanted him gone so that when they brought him back and he won the fight for them pretty much single-handedly, they'd be like, oh, thank God you came back to life and you weren't here from the beginning, because that would have been a really short movie then.
As much as his death was poorly handled in Batman v Superman, I actually think it's kind of cool the way they're doing it for Justice League. The idea that it's like, it really raises the stakes. It's like Superman's around, he does a bunch of cool Superman things, and then a bunch of aliens take notice, and then Superman dies. But those aliens are still there, and they're still coming.
Yeah. Also, the
parademons
look really awesome.
They do look really cool.
I'm excited for the parademons.
Yes, the parademons themselves look great. Actually, while we're talking about things that look great, I really, really am liking the Flash and his. I didn't like his costume at first, but I'm really liking his costume now, and I love his CGI. I even like the jokes. They're a little dumb at times, but I think a little bit of dumb humor is okay. It's healthy to have a little bit of that.
Yeah, especially since your last movie was like gravel.
Okay. I see people online always talk about how like the problem with Batman v Superman wasn't that it was too dark. It was because the plot was stupid and blah 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 blah. And I agree, the plot was stupid, but I think that the plot was stupid because the movie was way too obsessed with being this like moody, grim,
zero
dark,
levity.
Zero
levity. Not true. It's just that they tried to use what's his nuts, Lex Luthor as the levity, and that was the worst decision they made. Worse than making Martha the thread connecting these two was the fact that Lex Luthor was comic relief for whatever reason.
Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love it. I love bringing people together.
Exactly.
You should not pick a fight with this person.
That sentence made it past a bunch of people's desks, and that should have been a huge red flag. That shit right there. But
God.
Whatever. So, yes, Justice League trailer. I also enjoyed the Flash's get up and whatever. I mean, I will admit to not liking him purely out of bias because I like the Flash TV show and he's not that one. So, I'll admit to being butthurt about that. But now I'm fine, I guess.
Honestly, I've kind of fallen out of love with the Flash TV show, especially after season 3.
I don't honestly even remember what's going on anymore. But
okay, just checking. I like the Flash TV show, but I have like no interest in seeing him be the movie version of the Flash.
No, but I'm okay really resistant to change. So that's really where the issue lies for me. But anywho,
all right.
The Wonder Woman,
Justice League.
No.
Wonder Woman
did stuff in that one, and that'll be cool. Aquaman seems like he'll be fun. His introduction rushed his balls, but whatever, he's there. We're just gonna have to learn to live with that. Cyborg seems okay in the sense that he's not really a character lately, but whatever.
I don't like Cyborg in this.
I don't know, he looks okay.
Any of the trailers.
I don't know what he'll add to the movie.
I don't entirely agree. I don't really like his design. I feel like it's too complicated.
Well, I mean,
there's too many sharp angles and stuff going on.
But he's a robot. Okay, he's a cyborg.
I know he's a robot.
He's got robot parts.
I know he has robot parts, Steve. That's not the problem. The problem is the design is so weird looking that it doesn't like look like a person. Like the whole time I'm just trying to figure out like how he is.
Well,
Like
I
what's
think they're
going on with
probably
his
okay.
fucking
I think they're
everything.
probably going with the new origin of him, where he
Yeah,
was
where
like
he's a
it's uh technology,
what's
the
that?
father
Mother
box.
box.
It's
Mother
mother
box.
box. Yeah, mother box. Sorry,
Yeah, mother
it's the
box.
mother box that like fuses with him and absorbs a bunch of random machines and blenders and things from around the house and whatever. So I feel like that's probably why it contributes to his jagged design, and also it's more edgy that way. No pun intended. So I feel like that's probably what's doing it. I understand where you're coming from. I would have preferred him to be a little more Iron Man myself, but you know,
I
that's
just
what we
want
have.
it to.
So
It's not awful. I just want it to be a little bit sleeker. Just something. I need it. I just don't like it.
also
I don't like
unrelated,
it.
but if Green Lantern were to show up in this movie, I would lose my shit. He's not gonna. I get it. But if he did, just like
Yeah,
right at the end or something, I'd lose my shit. I
dude,
want
I
that.
would love
I
that
want
too.
that. I don't even know. Okay,
Um,
I don't hold any expectations for the Green Lantern Corps movie being any good. I can't imagine that it actually will be. But I in a dark little part of my heart that still dares to dream, I still want to believe that Hal or John or whoever they pick to do it with can still pull off a movie, and I want that for us because I feel like that would be an awesome addition to the Justice League, since Hal is usually the comic relief character, and I feel like if they do him right, he can really juxtapose Batman's Batmaniness for these movies, because Batman really is the thing that bums everybody out because he's a bummer to be around. He
I
really
kind
is.
of actually. While we're I agree that I think Green Lantern would be a great addition to this film universe. But while we're on the subject of Batman, I kind of like that they're having him be a little bit friendlier in this movie.
Yeah, well,
You
he's
know what I
not out
mean?
for killing Superman now, so he can
Yeah,
afford to
he's
be a
not
little
trying
less
to
of a
murder people.
yeah.
He's not trying to kill someone without any sort of fair trial or anything like that. He's just like, well, time to kill him.
That's the Batman way, Adam. Haven't you ever read a comic book in your life?
Here I
Batman
go murdering
indiscriminately murders
again.
without trial. He's notoriously not good at communicating with police. Everyone knows
Yeah.
that.
I mean that is true. He's not good at communicating with
Except for
police.
that whole bat signal thing.
Well,
What set up
okay.
by the
Oh,
police and
okay.
all.
First of all, that's them communicating with him.
Well, it's
He's
more
not
like
communicating
one
with
of them
them.
communicating with him.
Yeah, it's one person. Batman has a understanding with one individual. Like that's it. No one else. Oh, and Alfred. But I know
Yeah.
that's not a cop, but still. Like
But he is a badass.
all I'm trying to say here is that I like that he's more friendly in this movie. I like that he's making a few more jokes, but I also like that he's kind of awkward about it. Now you can say that it's just like, oh, it's bad writing, the jokes aren't very good, but I prefer the idea that he's not used to being friendly.
No, I prefer that as well. I prefer
And
to
I
think of my
find that
Batman
amusing.
as a shut-in and having no social skills.
I agree. Or like he has enough social skills to get by, but like he's so objective focused.
Well, I think
that
okay, it's not a lack of social skills, I guess. It's a lack of genuine social skills because he can pretend to be Bruce Wayne all he wants, but when people are like, "Okay, but I know you're Batman," he's like, "Well, shit, now you kind of see through my facade now.
Yeah.
Now I have to be me, and I'm abrasive."
I don't remember who it was who I was talking to about this once, but with Batman, there's kind of three different ways you can play the character, like as an actor. There's you as Batman, where you have the suit on and you're trying to be super intimidating as fuck, and then there's you as Batman without the suit, like the real Bruce Wayne in the cave by himself or with Alfred, and then there is the facade Bruce Wayne, the one where he puts on when he's in public, and like I feel like each Batman actor has played those different roles. Like it's kind of funny where it's like I think that the best real Bruce Wayne, like Bruce Wayne in the cave, that was probably Michael Keaton. And I think that the best like showy public Bruce Wayne was Christian Bale, and I think that the best Batman was Ben Affleck. No, Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Not Adam West. Look, I love Adam West. May he rest in peace and all that jazz. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
But I love Adam West, but I don't consider him Batman. I'm sorry,
Um,
everybody.
I'll have you know that he didn't have to play 3 different versions of Batman because he just played them all at the same time.
It's not that like okay, yes, he is Batman, just his like own weird Silver Age version of Batman, and that's cool and all, but that's just not my version of Batman. I don't see him as Batman. I prefer my what is this? What is the one after Silver Age? Is it
Bronze
Bronze
Age.
Age? Bronze Age? Is that
Yeah.
the one we're in now? Yeah,
No,
okay.
we're
I
in
prefer
the
my
modern age now.
Modern Age. I prefer Modern Age / Bronze Age. Whatever. This is not important at all.
It's very
we're,
important to somebody.
we're getting really distracted by all this other
So Justice
shit.
League, how about that movie trailer, huh?
Justice League. I really liked the trailer for the most part. I think that the CGI was mostly good. There were a few shots here and there that looked kind of video gamey,
Mm.
like kind of like really like, well, that looks fake as fuck.
Well, I mean,
like,
okay. I mean, at this point, my biggest concern really with the movie is that they're just going to start the fighting scenes too early, and then it's just going to be a nonstop barrage of explosions and brown colors.
yeah, with all of the apocalyptic crap that
Yeah.
we've seen in the trailers, I really feel like it's gonna be like a fucking 40-minute thing. Like I'm thinking
Oh yeah.
like in the Avengers when they're in New York and how that like takes like it's like a really long sequence. I'm scared that they're gonna try to do something similar, but it's gonna be even longer and it's not
Oh yeah.
gonna be a bunch of characters I care about
I
as
mean,
much because
most of the shit we saw in the trailer was just people fighting things, and I get that that's
yeah.
the climax, and that's what they're supposed to be, appealing to your baser instincts with, trying to get those dopamine sensors a flowing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like you really didn't present me with anything that makes me believe this is not just 2 hours of explosions. Like, yeah,
It is
there's
a
some
little
quips
bit.
in between, but there could be explosions happening outside.
There's also Lois sleeping
But
in
that could be
Clark's
that
bed.
could be the first 5 minutes. I mean, they might just start
I
from the
know, I
hour
know.
mark and go from there with nothing but just death and maiming. Which if they can pull it off somehow, great. But I sincerely doubt it because you're just going to exhaust people with that kind of thing. You have to
Yeah,
really save
I
that for
agree.
the climax.
I'm a little bit worried that the action sequence in this movie is going to be super long, drawn out. I mean, this is Zack Snyder we're talking about. Like, come on. Like, the man's whole bread and butter is cool action scenes. Like, I'm kind of scared
Which
that.
is great, but we need character time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, you need that, and I don't know. I still can't quite say that I'm excited for this movie. I can't
I'm
quite say it.
I'm not
I'm
any less
I'm
excited.
like yeah, I agree to that, and I did like the trailer, but it didn't it didn't help me. I just pretty much
Let's just
stayed where I
say
was.
that we're both cautiously optimistic about it. How about that?
Yeah,
Is that fair?
if I had to yeah, I agree completely. Like if I am 45, no, 55% excited. Like I'm mostly
I
there,
think we
but
can
only
probably
just
agree
barely.
that it at least will probably be better than Batman v Superman.
I
And that's
probably
really
will
the
be
only
that.
benchmark you need to hit at this point. It has
What
to
I'd
be
be
better
really
than Suicide Squad by virtue of it has all the right pieces.
It has to be better
It
with the
has
better
to be.
Suicide Squad.
Like it can't
Yeah.
not be. If it is, then we
think
have
the
failed
WB,
as a species. I think.
I think the WB editing team is hearing you and just laughing, just
Okay.
like, "Mwah.
If somehow,
let's see what we
if
can
somehow
do."
Batman v Superman, or not, Jesus Christ, if Justice League,
Justice
the thing
League.
that has the sprinklings of awesome things in it, still somehow comes out worse than not just Batman v Superman, but Suicide Squad, then the entire writing team will probably commit seppuku because clearly they did not graduate from the right school.
I'm with you. I agree. I agree though. I think that as long as this movie is better than Batman v Superman, then I'll take it as a win.
Yep,
That's all
Congratulations,
I need.
WB.
Yes.
You have successfully lowered our standards to the bare minimum. You can literally do no wrong at this point.
That's not true.
Okay, but you can't do much worse.
Your chances of doing wrong are much lower.
Yeah. Okay, like that game at the carnival where you hit the little thing with the hammer and it flies up and rings the bell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Basically, they're at the point now where that's pretty much like 3 or 4 feet tall. As long as you hit it with the hammer you have a pretty good chance of everybody getting happy with the product, you know?
I would say after Batman v Superman, I would have like lowered that rung to like a 3, but after Wonder Woman, I could bring it up to like a 5.
Yeah, well, see, that's just it.
I think
they've almost, and I feel bad about saying this, but it's kind of true. They've almost done themselves a disservice by making Wonder Woman. Now that I think about it, because now they've shown people that they cannot fuck it up when the time calls for it, you know? Like, if they had just made a shit Wonder Woman, like, it's like Sonic, you know? At least we'd be like, okay, well, you can't do anything wrong because we expect nothing of you. But at this point, like, they've shown us on accident actually Sonic did too. They've shown us almost maybe by mistake that they know what they're doing when the time is right, you know? So now they've actually now they've put pressure on themselves to perform. You know, and you never want a performance pressure. You don't want that.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Oh my god. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
So
I had
think
more,
we
but
both
that's
agree.
fine.
I mean, do you really
No,
go
it's
ahead?
Okay. No, it's okay. I was just gonna just rant some more about some shit.
Okay, just let it go,
okay.
Steve.
All right.
So this trailer, it was okay.
Yep.
It was okay. It's fine. Everything's fine, everybody.
I feel like maybe we get off track a bunch about these trailers because we've been doing this for Jesus Christ. What's been 45 minutes here, and we talked about maybe 3 minutes of 2 trailers. And the rest of it was just miasma
don't
bullshit.
Worry. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm really tired today. I think that's my problem right now.
Yeah, that's definitely the issue. We've never done this otherwise.
If you listening at home have somehow made it into this far into this episode,
first of all, thank you.
Know that we are doing. Yeah, thank you. But also know that we're doing this kind of late at night, and so at least me, I'm really tired.
I'm jazzed and ready to go. I don't know why Adam doesn't care enough about you to get the show going, but that's just me.
I am delirious. I'm barely functioning. Okay.
This is not relevant.
So, Punisher. The TV show has been delayed for later this year. Now, they never actually told us what the release date was going to be, but supposedly, according to some pretty good reports, it was actually going to launch like this week. Like, it was going to be like right now, but it's not.
Clearly. Or we'd be talking about it.
If you can't tell, we haven't seen it. And the reason for that is because of all of the crazy shootings in Las Vegas and I think other places. Oh God, I'm really behind on actual real life events. But the Las Vegas shooting, I know, was the big one. And so they decided to delay Punisher to later this year sometime. And we don't know when. Because they haven't told us when.
Probably a good idea. That's probably the tactful thing to do.
Like, I'm totally okay with waiting. It doesn't bother me too much. It's like a minor inconvenience. Like, oh, no, shucks. Like, and plus this hopefully will give them extra time to make it better.
Right, yeah.
Maybe. Like, maybe they'll do more editing or more voice tracking or music shit. I don't know. But, like, I'm totally cool with them waiting a little bit longer. That's completely fine.
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me.
And I do think that this is an appropriate thing to do. I mean, The Punisher is about a vigilante badass who has like 20,000 guns that he uses to kill criminals on the street. And that can be kind of a sore subject during a time when there was a quote unquote vigilante shooting people in the street in Las Vegas. That's a bit of an issue. In real life, obviously. So I can completely understand why they might want to wait a little bit and let things cool down before they, release this thing. Like that whole idea of, all press is good press. That is not true at all.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, this was
not...
probably the right call, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and I have pretty much zero problems with this. And actually, it's really convenient for me because it gives me more time to watch other things.
Oh yeah, that also helps.
I mean, yeah, just for my own personal life, it means that I don't have to binge it in 3 days and then review it.
Because I got because I have a problem. I have 5 shows I'm binging on Crunchyroll at any given time right now because I don't know what's wrong with me, Adam. Like, I'll start one, and I'll be like, oh, no new episodes? Let me just start something else then. And then I have, 5 of them going, and then one will finish, and I'll be like, instead of doing the rational thing and just having that gap and then waiting for them all to finish and maybe starting one new one, I'll just fill that hole with another one right away. So, you know, I don't even finish most of them.
Well,
I just start them and don't
currently,
quit. I just quit.
you
But
know, this is completely unrelated to anything at all, but my problem right now is I'm trying to catch up on Star Wars Rebels, the TV show. But the new season comes out on Monday, and I don't want to date this episode, but today is Tuesday, and I have a little less than a week to watch a season and a half and try to catch up.
technically it's
Really,
Wednesday, but
oh yeah, I
it's
guess
one
that's
in the
true.
morning, Adam.
Quiet, Steve. You're dating us.
What, by giving us
You're
an
making us.
hour on the clock? Because
Yeah.
1 a.m. doesn't happen anywhere else in the world at any other time.
Anyway, we're gonna go into other things that are actual news and things that we talk about. Yep,
Good
that's
save,
what we
Adam.
do. So the Spawn reboot film.
Anybody remember
Uh,
Spawn?
yeah, anyone remember Spawn? Do you get anyone who still give a shit about Spawn?
I know I don't.
I don't think I ever did. But that movie is going to be filming early next year. They didn't give an exact date, but I think they said January or February. Which is kind of crazy, and the reason I'm talking about it, which means this is actually getting made. Spawn has been in development hell for like 15 years, I think, something like that. It's been a long
At a
freaking
certain
time.
point, you gotta just say to yourself, let's pull the plug, guys. We tried, and it didn't work.
Well, the guy who's trying to make this, whose name I can't think of for some stupid reason, it's the guy who made Spawn. What the fuck is his name?
You mean the guy who actually came up with the character Spawn?
Yes,
He wants to get his own movie going?
The creator of Spawn has been trying to make a Spawn film for like
Oh,
10 years.
well, I understand his desperation then, I guess.
And he's going to be directing it.
Okay, well, I guess
This
it'll
is
be
a-
true
this is-
to the
I guess. It's
his
weird.
vision of it anyway.
And also the film is going to have a $10 million budget. And it's really weird to say this because of how poor I am, but $10 million is fucking pocket change. At least when it comes to making movies. Just to give a frame of reference, the film It, which was filmed on a very small budget, was filmed on a budget of 30 million, and this movie Spawn is going to be filmed with a third of that, which so 10 million is really small amount.
Yeah,
I don't.
especially for a movie that's gonna have to be all special effects. All
Yes,
special
that's
effects.
the other problem is I don't understand how they could possibly make a Spawn movie. I don't know a lot about Spawn, but what I do know about Spawn tells me that it's like this devil guy who
He
has
was like a
bunch of
marine
CGI
guy who
shit.
died, but
Yeah.
he needed to go see his wife, so he made a deal with the devil or whatever to go back to his wife, but he went all gross and stuff, so he became a soldier for hell because that was part of his deal, and then he's trying to rebel and shit, and he winds up killing the devil and God, except he doesn't kill him, he like puts him in an alternate dimension or some shit, I don't remember. It's weird. I don't really know much about him, I just know like the Cliff Notes version, but I do know that if you ask the average person who spawned, they'll tell you, that guy who kind of looks like Venom.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, he does kind of look like Venom.
That's if they even know who he is at all.
Actually,
Because my
yeah,
usual
I-
my usual mark
I-
for comic book related things is I ask my dad if he knows. If he knows, then I know it's in the mainstream. If he doesn't
Yeah,
know,
I agree.
because he doesn't know what Zelda is. He knows the name, but he doesn't know what it is. That's usually where my benchmark is. Because I was talking about Zelda the other
I
day.
feel the same
This
way
is
about
unrelated, but I think it's funny.
my parents.
I was talking about Zelda the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I hated Zelda." I was like, "You played Zelda?" He's like, "Yeah, I hated typing in those commands." I was like, "Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Zelda didn't have keyboard commands. I think that's maybe a different game you're thinking of. I think he was thinking of
Talking about-
Zork because it has a Z in it, but
I was thinking Mist. Is he talking about Mist?
no, he wasn't talking about Myst. He played games in the 80s. He had an Intellivision and an Atari 2600. He's not playing Myst.
Oh my god.
Adventure. He was playing
Yeah,
Adventure.
I
though.
do the same thing, by the way, with seeing if something is popular enough. Like if my mom, for me it's my mom, because my dad is so like behind the times that like he doesn't know fucking anything. But my mom actually like does social media, and like she tries to stay up to date on current events.
Yeah,
So, like,
but
if
these
my
are
mom,
not current events. These are, you know.
Yeah, I know. But still, my mom is at least somewhat active when it comes to pop culture, kind of. And so I'll occasionally be like, "Hey, you want to see this movie?" And she'll be like, "I don't know what that is."
Yeah,
And I'll be
yeah.
like, "Okay, all right then."
I'm waiting for Martian Manhunter to come out so they can ask me all sorts of questions about why
Oh,
that green guy
dude.
is there. And I'll be like, that's a superhero. They'll be like, from where? I'll be like, from
I
Mars. Like, that's stupid. Yeah,
I
well,
think I figured it out. I think I figured out why I don't like Cyborg. It's because I like Martian Manhunter and I want him to be in this movie and not Cyborg.
oh, of course.
I think that's it. I think I figured it out.
Of course. It's
I mean,
like when a girl that you like is going out with another guy and you don't really hate that guy, but you kind of hate that guy because he stole her from you, hypothetically speaking. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I don't have as much experience with that as you do, Steve, but
Wow. Oh my god, Adam.
oh my
I don't know if that's how
God,
you
that
meant
was
for that to come out, but that hurts, man. Jesus Christ.
oh. I'm just messing with you, man.
Whew.
You can cry later, don't worry.
Yeah, I think I will. Thank you.
So Spawn, I don't care. No, I do care. I care enough to question why this film is being made and how in the world it could possibly work.
Yeah, honestly,
Like,
dude, you picked the wrong time to come up with a superhero movie.
I
It
just don't.
seems like it's the right time. It
I
seems
I
like it.
don't understand.
It's not.
If this was like a Spawn TV movie, I could maybe see it. I guess like an hour long,
To
like
go
a
with the
10
Spawn
million.
Netflix show.
Yeah, 10 million budget for like an hour long short film. I could see it, but $10 million for a feature length film, there is no fucking way, dude. Like, no, you're crazy. This guy is, I don't know what he's smoking, but I kind of want some of it because, like, holy shit, I have no
Because it makes you
idea.
fulfill your dreams.
Yeah.
And I need that kind of
Uh,
motivation.
We're going to move on to our next bit of news, which is that Gore Verbinski, which is a name I don't remember hearing before, but I should know it, is going to be directing the Gambit film. And Gore Verbinski is known for directing the first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies, meaning the ones that people care
Yeah,
about.
the goodish ones.
The really good one, and the other two.
Pretty much, yeah.
And also the Lone Ranger, and
Also with Johnny Depp.
oh yeah, also with Johnny Depp. And there's a couple other movies that I don't remember anymore. But this is a guy who knows his way around a big budget blockbuster film, and he's going to be directing Gambit. You know, it's still going to star Channing Tatum. And I'm fine with this idea. I hope that Gambit turns out well. I like Gambit. I mostly because I liked Gambit in the X-Men cartoon. And that's most of my experience with the character. Just being honest. But I really want to see him done well. The only time we've seen Gambit done in live action was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and that was a giant garbage pile. And
True,
no
true.
one should ever. You are only allowed to watch like the first 30 or so minutes of X-Men Origins Wolverine. The first the first 30 minutes or so are acceptable, but anything after that, and you can just stop. It's trust me,
You
it's
know,
not worth it.
okay, well, getting back on topic here, I gotta tell you, man, I don't give two shits who's directing the Gambit movie because I don't really care about the Gambit movie.
Yeah, I can
find it
understand that.
difficult to be motivated about spin-off superhero movies, particularly ones about the X-Men, because I'm sure this will piss somebody off, but I was always more of a DC boy than a Marvel boy anyway, so the X-Men were
I
never really
respect
my
it.
jam. I like the X-Men fine, I have favorite X-Men, but Gambit was not one of them, with his stupid Captain Planet hair and his Inspector Gadget trench coat. Didn't really do it for
Yeah,
me. So I was just,
I get it.
it's kind of whatever, you know. I won't be seeing this one probably. It's you know.
Yeah, I think I might
And
see
I
it, but
agree
I
that
mean,
I
like,
saw him in the X-Men cartoon, but I did not like him in it.
really, I did. I thought he was cool.
But I don't remember who I
I
liked in that cartoon, to be perfectly honest. I remember
I
watching
mean,
the one that came after that, the new generation of X-Men, where it was like the same shit, but they like updated it, and I liked that one a lot.
okay.
But Gambit wasn't
Well,
in that one,
good.
if I recall. So
I don't remember him being in that one either. I didn't see as much of that one, so I don't
that
remember
one
it as
doesn't have
well.
as nearly as cool of a theme song, but
Dude,
you
yes.
know,
That's the most memorable thing about the X-Men cartoon. It's just the theme song. And that's most of what I love about the X-Men cartoon. It's just like, ah, man.
and all those
It's
arm
that show
hairs they
with
drew
the
on Wolverine.
Yeah. Also, Wolverine was pretty cool. Beast. I liked
You know, I
Beast
was never a
in
Beast fan
the.
either. I was a
I
Nightcrawler
liked.
boy. I like
Oh,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler was cool too. I didn't. I never liked Mystique. I thought Mystique was dumb. And there was
Really?
one
Because I
point in
like
the X Men.
Mystique. I don't think you and I are on the same page at all.
Really?
Because I like
I
Mystique a
didn't like
lot.
Mystique. I thought Mystique was annoying, and I also was really irritated. There's this one point when they're doing the apocalypse stuff in the TV. I don't know why I remember this one thing specifically. So they're doing the apocalypse storyline in the TV show, and there's a point where Mystique has to get into this like the tomb of Apocalypse, and she turns into a snake so that she can like get further into the
Yeah, no,
thing.
she can't do that.
Yeah, I know, and that's stupid. It made me really mad when I was a kid because I was like, no, she shouldn't be able to do that. We've never been told she can turn into animals. Like, this is a completely new power. It's not the same as being able to change your skin and shit. Like, it's turning into a completely different animal that doesn't work. Like, I was
True,
really
true.
upset about this when I was a kid, and that's mostly why I didn't like Mystique in that particular TV show, was because that one thing that's always stuck out in my memory
Sorry, dude.
bothered me. It's okay. It's not your fault.
So basically, what
Did
we can
you
agree on is that Gambit is an X-Man.
Gambit? I think we can agree that the Gambit film is underwhelming, and I don't think either of us care very much about it.
Yeah, I'd agree to that.
And the only reason I wanted to mention it is because I like making fun of things. Neener, neener. It's fun. It's a good time.
You're a class act, Adam.
I know. So, speaking of making fun of things, Bride of Frankenstein.
My God.
Bride of
This is my
Frankenstein
favorite news thing we're talking about today.
is a movie, and it was going to start filming early next year, but the filming has now been delayed
Oh my
because
God,
they
say it isn't so, Adam.
delayed, not canceled.
Huh. Huh.
Oh, if if only. And apparently they're delaying it so they can quote get the script right. Now, if you didn't know this, and I don't think you and I, Steve, we ever talked about this because we were off air at the time when all of this bullshit was announced. But uh, Paramount is trying to make a dark universe. I think it's Paramount, whatever. They're
Whoever.
trying to make a dark. They're trying to take like all of the shitty horror movies from like the 1930s, and I say shitty lovingly,
Do
not
you?
not as a slight. In this particular context, yes, I do. They're not. They're really good films at the time
Oh,
by today's
okay. Is that how we're
standards.
measuring it then? Fine.
Yeah, by today's standards, they're shitty. Like I'm
Okay,
sorry,
that's fair,
but
I
like
guess. Fine.
the
Classic monster movies. How about that?
classic monster films. They're trying to take classic monster films from the 1930s and they're rebooting them, remaking them into generic blockbuster action films, which is a horrific idea. Actually, it's not a horrific idea because if it was a horrific idea, maybe there would be some horror involved, which would be nice,
Oh.
actually. Okay, I never got to talk about this, so I want to talk about it now.
No, hang on. Before you go
Okay,
off on this thing,
okay.
and I'm right there with you.
All
I
right.
feel the fire, man. But I want to have like an
All right.
honest question. So, like,
Sure.
okay, um, when somebody sets out to make a movie nowadays, like, do they actually think? And I'm serious. This is an actual, genuine question. When they set out to make one of these big explodey blockbuster dealios, do they ever think 5, even 2 years down the line, anyone's gonna say that's my favorite movie? Because I feel like
No.
in the olden times, and this is like kind of the same thing with music too, but I'm gonna get that's unrelated. When somebody made something back in olden times, in whatever year you care to imagine, before now, the idea was always like, I want to make this so that people can identify with it, or it'll be something that people will talk about forever, And that was the case for a lot of shit. Like, for whatever reason, Titanic is so popular, that's something people still remember. And it's like, oh, that's my favorite movie, or that thing about the time traveling mailbox, or Bridget Jones' Diary, or whatever, or Schindler's List, because it's actually a good movie. That kind of shit. That's stuff that
yeah.
people are like, oh, I remember that because it resonated with me, or whatever. But
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel like
good
when you
film.
set
Yeah.
out to make something like this, and you take a property, and you throw a fucking dart, and you land on Frankenstein's monster, or the Wolf Man, or the Invisible Man, God forbid, we're gonna get one of those, I'm sure.
Oh my God! I have something I have to tell you later. Don't worry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Ooh, you made me nervous. But okay. So, okay, when they set out to do that kind of thing, and they say, "I'm just gonna keep pumping money into this and throw a bunch of C4 in the background and explosions and whatnot," do they actually feel like that's going to be something that people in future generations are going to look like Transformers movies, perfect example, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, or
Yeah.
anything Michael Bay has ever made.
Oh God.
Do you think that's the kind of shit
Yes,
where
yes,
he
yes.
feels like people down the line are going to fondly remember it, or you think they just set these things up like
No.
popcorn movies to, you
They're
know?
they're made to do one thing and one thing only. It's make money right now.
Okay,
That's what their
yeah,
goal is.
that's kind of what I'm
That's it.
wondering, because I'm not an artist, but I do believe in an artistic integrity as an idea, and I kind of feel like if you're going to make something, you should really put your heart and soul into it. I understand that these are corporate cogs doing these things, and that's not applicable to them. But I don't know, maybe that's just the romantic in me really wants things to mean things when you make them, I guess. And I'm sorry,
I agree with
this is
you.
not really related to monster movie news, but it just kind of, it like baffles me that they look at this and they say that will sell because who's the market audience? Like who are you trying to target this product to? Who's going to resonate with Frankenstein's Bride of Frankenstein movie? You know, like the people who saw it 100 years ago when that shit came out. If there even is one, I honestly don't even know if there is one. The only Frankenstein movie I've ever seen to completion is that one with the what's his nuts, the Blazing Saddles guy, whatever that movie was called. Young Frankenstein.
I don't even.
That one, Young Frankenstein.
Oh,
I've seen that one
yeah,
to completion,
right.
but
Which is also, I love that movie. But
yes,
you know.
I've never seen the actual original one or anything, and I'm fine with that.
Me neither.
But this does not. Okay, I'm sorry. It just this baffles me to no end.
I think that that's a good critique of this idea. Is that like what's the point of doing this? Just to make money in the short term? I mean, like, I know that that's
that
point,
is the
but
point,
like,
but why?
No one cares. Like, no one, like, the Mummy film that they made and it came out in, like, whatever it was, February, I think, was awful. And the only reason that I'm talking about it right now is because of this news thing about the next one in the fucking franchise. Like otherwise, no one would remember it anymore. And you remember the old Mummy movie, right? Not the old one, but the one with Brendan
Yeah, I
Fraser.
remember that. Yeah,
Because it was funny and it was
yeah, it was
charming
a
and
good
it was
time.
endearing. It was a good time. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't some cinematic
No,
masterpiece, but it was
I wouldn't say that's my favorite movie or anything, but I can definitely think back and go, oh yeah, I have memories of that movie.
yeah,
Positive
it's
time.
nice. It just feels good to watch it, and it's just nice and wholesome, and that I can't say that about this new Mummy movie. Do you want to know what happens at the end of the Mummy movie that came out, whatever it was? Um, Tom Cruise gets cursed. They kill the mummy, and now Tom Cruise is the mummy. Like he has all of the mummy powers,
Wow,
and he
that's
wanders.
actually one of the most asinine things I've ever heard, I think. And
Yes,
I saw that
like
Terminator Genesis movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger becomes a liquid metal Terminator through osmosis or something.
that's the plot of that fucking movie. Oh, and by the way, the thing I had to tell you about when you were ranting earlier, Johnny Depp has been announced to play the Invisible Man.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's literally happening. They're making an
Okay,
Invisible
The
Man
Invisible
movie
Man was the
with Johnny
dumbest
Depp.
monster movie ever. I've actually seen that one. I don't know why.
Me
My dad
too. I
likes
actually
black
have.
and white movies, and I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the appeal was. And I don't know why that counts as
Yeah,
a monster movie. Okay, you know what monster movie was good and that just takes all care all that shit? Hotel Transylvania, done. All of them are covered. Boom. We can go home.
I've heard that's really good. I've never actually seen it though.
It's a pretty alright, and especially
Mm.
impressive because it's a Adam Sandler movie, so it's
I know,
extra
right?
good.
Like, I didn't know he could make good films anymore. I thought that he was
Well, I
just done.
sincerely doubt he had much to do with it, but it's
Yeah,
still
that's probably true.
It's pretty good. But that's got all those old Count Chocula monsters in it, and that takes care of all those things. We don't need a Bride of Frankenstein or a goddamn Invisible Man or a Wolfman
okay.
or a
If
Nosferatu
you're
or any of those things.
okay, if you are sitting back, you're a company executive, and you're just like, man, everyone has franchises nowadays. You got Star Wars, you got Marvel, you've got DC trying to do their thing. You've got like you got shit like Transformers. Um, we got to get our own franchise. What do we have the rights to? Let's go check. And it's like, well, we've got all these old monster movies. It's like, huh, okay, well, let's see what we can do with that. And if you're gonna do something with those properties, which is not necessarily a bad idea, why don't you make a new updated version of the films, like that are actually like relatively low budget horror movies?
Okay, all right.
Why don't you just do that? Why don't you just make a good horror film?
All right. Okay. Well,
And then you can have it. You can have it all be in one universe. You can have that happen. Like I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know. Actually, I can think of an example. Kind of. Um, It is a film that's really good. It's a great funny, or not funny. It's a great scary, like ooh movie. It was made on a small budget, and it is now the highest grossing horror film of all time. Like
okay.
it was crazy. It's this huge success.
You know what?
And
That that kind of undermines what I was going
like
to say, honestly.
okay, see, people like horror movies. I know you might not, but people do. People like being scared. I like being scared. Horror films are fun. We enjoy them. And so I just can't understand why you have the rights to all of these classic monster things that
I kind of
people
feel like the
don't
trademark ran out on those things already. But
okay,
yeah,
well,
I get what you're saying.
I don't know if it's nostalgia or just like
Okay, we'll see.
this classic feel. I don't know what it is, but
this is what I was gonna say. There's two things I was gonna say, but you kind of crushed my argument, but you kind of presented one of your own, so that's fine. It's still a bad idea, but what I was gonna say is the reason that they don't make the horror movie version, or the reason they don't think they should, is because that horror movies, like the monster movie kind of thing, are not scary anymore. You know?
yeah,
Like
no,
Frankenstein, not scary. Invisible Man, never scary. The Wolfman, not scary anymore, you know? The Goosebumps book for the Wolfman, still scary. The movie, not scary anymore. And I feel bad for, like, horror buffs, you know? People who, like, watched all of those monster movies in, like, the 80s, you know? Like, when, like, the primo time of the cheesy horror movie. Those people are never going to get that feeling back. And I feel bad for them. But I'm speaking to those people directly now. It's like, I could see why you would want such a thing to happen, because I feel like getting a new version of something you like could be a cool experience, a la these superhero movies, you know? But I want you to understand, I don't feel like that kind of magic can be captured again. It's going to be perverted, for one. It's going to be about making special effects and money, so it's not going to be the hokiness that you were hoping for, unless they do it on purpose, which they might, but I doubt it. And it's not going to have the passion in it, because, again, it's going to be that shit. It's not going to be good. I'm sorry. However, Adam just pointed out that doing a monster movie is actually not only entirely possible, but ludicrously successful when done properly. So, you're right, Adam. They should do them as classic horror movie style things, because that might actually turn out for them. But they definitely shouldn't do what they're doing now.
Like, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying, okay, you can't do exactly the same thing. And you're right, it might not work out. It might not have the same feel, and it might not have the same nostalgia that horror buffs, know and love. And you have to accept that. But I still stand my firm belief that what I'm suggesting is 10 times better than what the fuck we're getting right now. Like, not even a question. The idea of them at least trying to make an updated version of these movies that stays true to the original idea, just, with modern filmmaking styles, is so much a better idea than just like, hey, why don't we take a mummy and why don't we, like, make it into this fucking generic ass action film and we have Tom Cruise be in it. Like that's such a terrible, horrible, boring idea. It's so dull. Like I feel like this is something that like saying that out loud made me realize how ludicrous it was, because it sounds like something someone would say as a joke. Like, oh hey, why don't we just watch the new Mummy reboot that has Tom fucking Cruise in it, where he becomes the mummy at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why don't we just watch the new Invisible Man reboot that's starring Johnny Depp? Oh, how about we watch the new Bride of Frankenstein that stars Javier Bardem and some other lady you've never fucking heard of? This can't be real life. Like, this is stupid. Like, it's dumb, and I hate it. No, if you're gonna do something with these classic horror properties, why don't you make a fucking horror movie? Like that's all I'm saying. I just want
silly, Adam.
more
That's not what the
movies.
focus tested groups told them that they should have made.
Ugh.
All those 12-year-old boys they asked said they wanted explosions, and they will have them.
God damn it. Like, everything I have heard about this Mummy movie is awful. And I haven't heard that much about the rest of them because they're still in early production, and obviously they're trying to do something differently.
You know what?
With
I just
Bride
thought
of
of a good
Frankenstein.
example of that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just had this thought
Go ahead.
immediately occurred to me. You know what movies kind of do what these guys are doing and they're not good? At least my opinion. The Underworld movies. They took the cool premise of the Stalkers of the Night, the vampires, which honestly, I argue, if you did a horror vampire movie, nowadays could still be scary, because the prospect of something unkillable sneaking into your room and murdering you in the night and draining you of all your fluids and whatnot, and turning you into a mindless thrall, that could be scary.
Dude.
Also, werewolves kick ass. But those kinds of things are wasted on that movie because it's basically just the Matrix with werewolves and vampires in it. And they're not even really vampires because they don't do anything vampire-y. Besides, bleed a bunch. That
is an example where it's just like, hey, let's take an idea and let's completely change it around so it's just like a fucking shell of what it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's like an original thing and they set out to do it that way, but that's like the point, right? Like, if they were going to do a vampire movie or a werewolf movie or something, do it like scary. It's a monster. By definition, it should be scary.
Dude, I never even realized this before, but I would absolutely love like a really like nasty modern vampire movie.
Exactly. Doesn't that sound like it would be awesome?
That sounds so fucking cool. I would love to see that. That sounds scary. Like, I want to see something that's gonna make me shit my pants.
You know what? Batman did a movie with Dracula. It was like a cartoon, and that shit was scary. Because they made him a badass Dracula. Like, he was faster than you, and he could swoop down at any second and drain you of all your fluids. That shit was scary. That's something they should do with real life, and not with Batman.
Yeah, man, I want to freaking now. I just want that. Okay, so is Bride of just to try to tie this back into what the actual original story was. We both kind of went on rants about this idea, but Bride of Frankenstein the filming was delayed to get the script right. You better get it really right.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, here actually, they might have just put themselves in the Mobius strip of writing because, as common sense would dictate, there's no way to get that script right. So they just perpetually push it back ad infinitum. We'll never have to see the movie because there will never be a way to do it properly. There we go. So the problem has abated itself, Adam.
Actually, and before we move on, Bride of Frankenstein specifically is a really stupid idea.
Oh yeah.
Frankenstein cannot work in the modern
Frankenstein.
day. Yeah, right? Like, it's such a weird one to pick. You don't make a Frankenstein movie first. You make a fucking Bride of Frankenstein movie first. What the fuck? Like, what are you even talking about?
That's like making a Little John movie instead of making a Robin Hood movie. Like,
yeah, it's weird. Where it's like I'm trying to think of it like that's like making a Nightwing movie and then
I was actually
later
say
making
Robin
a Batman
first, but
movie.
I had already used Batman in a previous example. I didn't want to use him again. But yes, it's like making the insert sidekick spin-off character hero movie instead of protagonist hero movie.
And like literally, her name is Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, how do you make an identity for a movie about that?
But we haven't even been introduced to Frankenstein yet. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. So maybe if they maybe it could work if they have a really good script that has a lot of horror elements. Like, it should be a horror movie. I don't know how the fuck you can do that with Bride of Frankenstein, because that's just not something that would
I
work in the
mean,
modern
to be
day.
fair, they never
But
named the monster. I'm sorry, I'm still dwelling on the comment about her name being Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, they never named the
oh yeah,
monster
you're
either.
right.
But that doesn't matter as much as it does with Bride of
Actually,
Frankenstein, specifically called goddamn
actually,
Bride of
I just
Frankenstein.
realized. I just realized shouldn't it be Bride of Frankenstein's
Yes,
monster?
it should, but
Oh
it's
my
not.
god, I hate this even more now. I'm really upset by this. Unless Frankenstein the person like originally intended for her to be with him, and then that just
Which
didn't
opens up
work.
all sorts of doors of not okay. So,
Yeah,
is it
I'm
necrophilia if she's undead?
I'm
Who's
profoundly
to say?
uncomfortable.
This is really a question for a lich. I don't know.
Is it incest if you use parts of your mother?
Well, that's
Like
probably
this.
that was a question I hadn't even thought of and didn't need to think about, Adam.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
I
I don't
don't
know if I
want to
want to do
talk
this
about this
show with you
anymore.
anymore, Adam.
We're moving on.
Yeah, thank
We're
God.
moving on to our little bit of video game news. So, Assassin's Creed
Speaking of undead,
Origins. Yeah, actually, Assassin's Creed Origins has a season pass. We all
go
knew
fucking
this.
figure.
That's yeah, holy shit, what? But now we know details on the season pass. It's going to be 2 DLC packs. First one is going to be called The Hidden Ones, which is set a few years after the events of the main game and features a young fledgling brotherhood fighting against an occupying Roman force. And the second DLC pack is The Curse of the Pharaohs, which will explore Egyptian mythology and will have players fight against an undead pharaoh and other monsters.
God of War.
Okay, let's just take this one little bit at a time. First of all, I do like the idea of fighting against Romans because Romans are cool.
Why would you want
So
to fight them?
that's well because they're I don't know because I'm an assassin. I want to kill everything. I don't
Oh, you
fucking
should sort that out, man. I think we're drilling down to the bedrock of your issues.
so I like that. That being said, the first one, the Hidden Ones DLC, sounds a lot like we talked about this a little bit before the show, but uh, sounds a lot like, hey, let's take the ending to this game, chop it off, and then sell it on the side.
Basically, yeah.
like, hey, that's
We don't want
kind
to
of
get
shitty.
into it too bad about how that's kind of what games are turning into nowadays, but that suffice it to say we weren't exactly thrilled about that.
Yeah, I'm not super in love with that, but I don't know. That one seems like I wouldn't. I need more information about it before I can get excited. But I'm intrigued. I will say that it sounds a little bit like the what was it called? I can't think of the name. The DLC they had for Assassin's Creed Unity, and I will say that the DLC was really fucking good for Assassin's Creed Unity. In my opinion, it was better than most of the rest of the game. Uh, Unity is probably my least favorite Assassin's Creed, or at least it's up there with my least favorites.
I thought 3 was your
Um,
least favorite.
Oh, definitely not. No, 3 is like 3 used to be my least favorite, but 3 has kind of gotten a lot better in retrospect. Uh, you,
Wow.
you don't even know, dude. No, dude, I actually have a lot of fond memories of 3. It's not like as good as the Ezio trilogy was, but 3 is still solid. But no, man, Unity is the worst. Unity sucks. Unity takes it takes the idea of like, oh, hey, we're gonna have a Assassin's Creed game set during the French Revolution, and it like you're barely doing anything in the French Revolution. The French Revolution is a backdrop for the main plot, which is a really poorly done romance between you, an assassin, and a Templar, whose name is Elise, and it's awful, and I hate
Hey
it.
man,
And the romance
gotta
is
get your dick wet.
the romance is dumb and it's forced and I hate it. It's boring. I don't
But you can
care.
bring balance to the
But
force that way.
the DLC for that game, which I still can't remember the name of, god damn it. Lost
Ooh.
no, something Kings. Dead Kings, that's it. That's the name. Dead Kings was the name of the DLC, and it was really good. So I'm hopeful that the hidden ones could be like really good like that, but I don't know. I doubt it. Oh, and the Curse of the Pharaohs,
Which sounds way
which
cooler because it's about fighting zombies and gods.
yeah, what the fuck is going
I don't
on
know,
there?
man, but it's kind of like that weird expansion of Infamous where you got bit by that vampire. Hey, we're talking about vampires again, and you have like vampire powers for a
Hey,
little bit. That was pretty cool. That was
I mean, it also kind of sounds like the expansion for Assassin's Creed 3, where you got to fight against an evil King George Washington.
that's nothing like fighting gods and zombies. Sorry,
Well,
no.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You also got
Those are
like
still
cool
people, though.
powers. You also got cool powers where you got to fly,
You did?
and yeah,
Oh,
well, kind of, sort of. Okay, the idea was okay. You know the grappling hook in Assassin's Creed Syndicate?
yeah, huh?
Imagine that, but you you look up at the sky, and it's like press R1, and then you press R1, and you like turn into an eagle, like a spirit eagle, and then you fly up
Oh,
to that one. It's
of
basically like the
course.
grappling hook. It's okay. It's almost exactly like the grappling hook from um, Batman,
Oh, okay.
the Batman games,
Interesting.
except that but you don't, you can use it not just going up. You can go down. You can go to the side. Like you can go in
Kind of
pretty much
seems
any
like getting
direction.
anywhere with parkour is pointless at that point because you can just literally fly there.
Well, yes, but it was really fun. Oh, and it uses up your health to do it. So
Oh,
if you do it too much too quickly, you'll die. So you
okay, I
have to like
guess.
do it one. You do it once, and then you have to. Then your health regenerates, and then you do it
Well, that
again.
seems
It
stupid
was
because you just gave me an infinitely more efficient way of getting around that's way more fun, and you're punishing me for using it.
well, no, it's not punishing you. It's just making it so you can't
Yeah, but the
constantly do it.
punishment is that I have
Like,
to walk around now.
well, no, oh my God, you're overthinking this. The
No,
whole
I am
idea is that
not.
you can't.
You gave me the gift of flight, and you said, okay, but you still have to walk places. What kind of shit is that? Like, okay, what if in Batman you got to use the cool grappling hook, but you only got to use it every 10 minutes, and you had to run everywhere otherwise? You know how stupid that'd
Okay,
be? Batman waddles
it's
like a
not.
duck. Why would I want to do that?
It's not that bad. You don't. I mean, you can teleport pretty often. It takes like 3 seconds for your health to regenerate, or
Imagine if
maybe like
Spidey ran out of webs while you were swinging.
8 seconds.
What?
Who can You know what, Steve? You're lame. Just forget you. Forget you, Steve.
Sorry, I didn't mean to punch holes in your stupid favorite game.
Anyway,
So yeah,
Curse of the
that one
Pharaohs.
actually looks
This
cool.
thing. That and
I want to
yeah,
play the
I
ancient
agree.
Egypt one.
Yeah, the ancient Egypt one sounds cool.
I
The other one I'm intrigued by, but the ancient Egypt one sounds like the real like bread and butter. Like it's like, yeah, that's what I fucking paid for.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know,
That I mean,
give me
honestly though, just seriously, make that its own game. I don't need that to be an Assassin's Creed game necessarily. You could just make that its own thing. I'd be happy to fight
just
ancient Egyptian things. I would fight them in shadow duels to be the king of games, and I would set the slaves free. I would do all sorts of Egypt things.
would you I don't know, grab your enemies and wrap them up living and bury them inside tombs and
I
shit?
would
I don't
totally
know.
do that, and then they would come back later as a mummy, but I'll be dead, so I don't care. I'll have ascended to wherever you go when you die with all your belongings in a room. And they will take out my
okay.
brain and heart and junk. I don't know. I'm
I
running out of Egyptian things, but you get the point.
Yeah, okay, just stop. So the season pass, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it because I don't know. I'm cheap as all hell. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna buy it.
There you go. Don't lie to
I just
me or
don't,
yourself, Adam.
I just don't know if I'm gonna buy it right away. I might wait. I mean, I still haven't bought the season pass for Breath of the Wild because I'm boring and I haven't played it in a while because I'm boring. There's a recurring theme with this.
Crack a
With the,
thesaurus,
yeah.
man. Christ.
I'm tired, is what I am. But no, I haven't played Breath of the Wild in a while, and I still haven't bought that season pass. So I'll probably do that first before I play Assassin's Creed Origins. Ugh. Okay, and that's it. That's all of our news for the day. Yay! So we're going to do our humble opinions. So, you can go ahead, Steve, because my voice hurts. So,
Okay. All right. I thought to myself, hey, I better have a humble opinion this time because it's been like 3 weeks since I had one. And I went to my good old pal Netflix to come up with something after I decided I didn't want to talk about any of the animes I've been binging because nobody wants to hear about that shit anymore. And I don't really want to talk about them anymore because they're all the same and I need help. Anyway, I went to Netflix and I saw there was a new show in my queue called Big Mouth. And in my humble opinion, Big Mouth is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Okay.
That's not a criticism or praise. That's just a fact. It's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. So I'm just going to dive right in. So Big Mouth is a cartoon about pre/post-pubescent children struggling with the day-to-day life, going through puberty. You know, puberty, the best time in everybody's life. It's that. And all the situations that come with. In the very first episode, I think it was the first episode, a dude gets I think it was a hug. Maybe they were dancing. I don't honestly remember anymore. But there was a 12-year-old kid, one of the main characters, who's I don't remember their names. I'm not even gonna pretend. He was hugging on a girl and he blew a load in his pants.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Just right there on the dance floor.
Oh man.
Yeah. And okay, if that right there made you think that seems really inappropriate and weird, I don't think I want to watch that show. I encourage you to not, because shit just gets weirder from there. You're in for a rough ride otherwise. So basically, the story focuses around a handful of children, all either, like I said, pre or post pubescent, or right there in the midst of things. And there is these lovely creatures called hormone monsters, and they appear to be the literal manifestation of puberty.
What?
No. Okay, just hang with me for a second.
What?
Hang on. So there is a literal interpretation of puberty, and they seem to operate under like Shinigami rules, where they can interact with the physical world, but no one besides the puberty child can see them. It's very strange. But like, their whole job is basically just to tell you to fuck things. Just fuck everything. All the time.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
I know. They're the best part of the show. It's awesome. But basically, like, our main guy, you know, he's just like, you know, the guy that blew his load in his pants.
Yeah.
His monster, when he's at a sleepover with his friend, his hormone monster appears to him and says, "Hey, you saw that poster over there? Just whack it some." It's like, "I can't do it. This guy's right here." He's like, "Just do it, you pig." And then he does. He's like, "What do I do about the mess?" And he's like, "Sleep in it." And it's like, oh my god. This show's fucking weird, dude. It's, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I know.
I'm dying. I'm literally dying.
And then there's a school field trip where a girl gets her first period. She's wearing white pants, and they can't find any tampons, so she has to wear a sweatshirt wrapped around her waist. And then there's a guy who heats up bags of soup in plastic bags, puts them in a cut in his pillow, and fucks the shit out of it. And then it gets pregnant. The pillow gets pregnant, and it has a pillow baby. But I don't want to ruin the story for you. But spoiler alert: it's not his baby. Take that for as gross as it will. And oh my god, it's a fucking mess, dude. The show is insane. And then the kid discovers internet porn one time and becomes a chronic masturbator and gets sucked into the internet where all the porn lives, and he becomes king of the porn universe for a second. And like, oh Jesus Christ. It's insane. Oh, and the monsters talk to the screen sometimes. Like, they mention how people are binge watching the show, and it's funny stuff. It's
holy crap! I need to watch this show.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. I mean, but it's gonna probably make a lot of people uncomfortable because it's a lot. Also, like I was talking about it talks about the joys of masturbation. Yeah. We also get to experience this kid and his friend watching their first porn together. That's a big moment for us all.
Why would you do that with someone else?
Man, that's a good question.
I'm sorry, this is so unrelated to anything, but I never understand why anyone would watch porn
I don't know,
with someone
man.
else. Or
I don't know.
Or while we're on this subject, why anyone would go to like a titty bar where it's like you're surrounded by all these other sweaty dudes getting their, you know, who's oh my god.
Yeah.
Why would
I don't know,
anyone
man.
do that?
I have no answers for you. But yeah, so that's what this show is basically about. We get to follow our hero heroes. It's a group of like 4 people. There's like 2 dudes and 2 girls. The story is mostly about, and it's a fucking mess, man. It's just absurd. Like
So,
that yeah, like
all right.
there's a dude hormone monster and a lady hormone monster. That's very important because the girl one takes the girl characters and the boy one gets the boy characters, and they get all of their conflicting hormones and shit, and then, it's just a dance of fun and enjoyment for all involved, and good god, it's just a mess. And then and there's an episode where the kid swears off masturbating, and he's just like, "You're gonna melt down, man. You can't not do it." And then he like it explodes, and it's just like, and then they find out that girls can be horny too, and that blows their fucking minds because they're just like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know it was an option." Did you understand that? Because I had no idea, and it's like, what? And then they try to put the moves on him, and it's good. It's a mess. And then there's a kid who drinks like bubblegum flavored alcohol that his mom makes or his dad brews or something, some kind of lawsuit because he's a divorce lawyer or something. And then and then his brothers play the soggy biscuit game. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I actually don't know that now.
That's where everyone sits in a circle jerk and whacks it onto a cracker, and if you're the last one to blow, you have to eat it. Yeah.
I would never ever in a million years
but
do
that's
that.
a thing that happens in this show. Almost they escape before that kind of thing happens, but that's shit that happens in this world. That's what somebody sat down and wrote this show. Also, the girls find out that they can masturbate too, which is a really, really cringeworthy scene if that kind of shit pisses you off, because we get to see like a actual like to scale version of a vagina with a face like attached to her though, which is the part that makes it uncomfortable for everybody, I think. It's really weird, dude. It's really weird.
I can't tell if I'm laughing so much because I'm tired or because this is absolutely like the most hilarious thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, dude, it's a hilarious show. But I mean,
that genuinely just sounds amazing.
Oh yeah.
I really want to see
but
this.
I can absolutely see the outcry of this show. I could see why people would be pissed.
Well, why would you be pissed if you'd figure it out in like what 20 minutes, if that? Like
No.
You should just walk away.
Well, yeah,
like,
no, that's not why they'd be pissed. They'd be pissed because it's like probably offends a lot of people. Also, probably if you couldn't make it through health class without giggling, this is not the show for you. But okay,
Oh,
but
man.
like the last episode, they're like sitting in this dude's room with the monster, and they're talking about like it's not they're not talking about the show, but it's kind of related. And it's like, isn't that kind of just basically child pornography? And he's like, yeah, kind of, but like it's animated, so you can get away with it, right? Right? And then just kind of cuts there, and it's like, okay.
That's funny.
And that's kind of what I
And-
think people are going to be upset about, because it's kind of it's flirting with the line a bit sometimes. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's a cartoon, but I could see why people would be upset. It's hilarious, though. I had a great time with that show. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. But hot damn, dude, it's it's something else, man.
All right. Cool.
Do you have any questions?
Not really. I think you pretty much covered it. I don't know. I mean, it's all about
It's an
puberty and
experience,
shit.
man. You gotta sit
I
there
don't
and
know
watch
what
it.
to say. I almost don't want to know too much because I want to watch it.
Actually, yeah, I don't want to tell you anymore, because I encourage you to go out and find it for yourself and just
Yeah, I probably
live
will
through that.
watch this mostly because I was considering it, but I probably would have forgotten about it. But now that we've had this conversation, I'm just like, oh my god, I need to watch this show. So I'm going to
Awesome.
like at some point,
Awesome.
probably tomorrow. I don't know.
Okay. Did you have one for me?
All right, so yeah, I do have a humble opinion. So I have to come out and say it. Breathe deep. Okay, it's gonna be fine. So I went to go see the My Little Pony movie in theaters because I am a man who is secure in myself.
I had to
And
think about it for a second. What exactly you were secure with?
And in my humble opinion, it was okay.
Oh, good.
It was fine. So basically, if you like My Little Pony the show, and I can genuinely say without shame that it is a good show. Like, it's well put together. It has good, strong messages. The characters are extremely likable. There's surprisingly good writing.
I can name a couple
like
ponies.
Yeah, like there's surprisingly good writing in this show. Like the characters are like have arcs and they change over time, and like there are things that happen in like season 2 or 3 that aren't mentioned again until season like 5 or 6, and it's just like, "Oh, so that's when that happened. Oh, okay." Like it's a surprisingly well thought out, very very good show. But to go back to this movie, if you've seen the show and if you like the show, you'll probably enjoy the movie because it's basically that. And if you have seen the show and you don't like it and you think it's dumb, don't watch the movie because it's more of the thing you don't like. Like
That sounds like good advice.
it's basically taking the show and like it's like, hey, why don't we just like squish a bunch of episodes together and make it into and like rework them a little bit and make it into a movie.
Okay, real quick, I
And
just have to ask, who's the bad guy in that show?
There's more than one.
There's more than one bad guy?
Yeah. I mean, there's more than one bad guy. The first bad guy that really matters.
I've seen pictures of like a goat man.
Yep, there's that. So the very first bad guy was, what's her name? Nightmare Moon, who was actually Princess Luna, she was like all evil, and then she got unevil.
Oh, that's nice.
And then after that, there was Discord, who is like a god of mischief or like something like, or god of chaos. That's it. He's a god of chaos.
And well, we better call Dr. Fate then.
And he was doing all kinds of crazy ass shit, and also he's amazing. He's like the best character in the show, and he actually makes several appearances too because he befriends the ponies. Like he starts out as a villain, but after a while he likes them and like they become friends, and then they like redeem him, and like he becomes like a supporting character. Like it's kind of weird how that worked out, but it's also amazing. And then there's the guy you're talking about who's like this big goat man thing, and his name is T-Rex, and he's fucking awesome and super intimidating. And there's a few others along the way that I don't remember. I feel like you can't say
fucking intimidating about anything from My Little Pony.
You'd be surprised. He's fucking awesome.
Maybe I would be.
But this movie, the My Little Pony, the movie, so there's two villains in the movie. There is like the main villain who is like this big goat man thing, and then there's his like lieutenant, like the person who sort of like his Darth Vader, if you will.
I was gonna go with Evil Lyn, but okay.
Yeah, if he's the Emperor, then there's this Darth Vader. Now the Darth Vader character, whose name is Storm or no?
Storm.
No, I can't remember.
Between Discord,
Tempest,
Storm, Tempest. Okay,
Tempest.
These are some really hardcore names for My Little Pony villains.
Yeah, but so Tempest is pretty awesome. So she's a unicorn whose horn has been broken off, and so she has like these like cool like electricity powers. Like it's like every time she tries to use her horn, it sends out this like electric pulse. It's actually super fucking cool.
What do you mean use her horn? What do the horns do?
Oh, the horns are magic, and you can use them to levitate
hang on now.
things.
Hang on a minute, because I was under the impression that friendship was magic.
Well, friendship is also magic, but the horns are magic, and they allow you to perform spells.
Okay.
There are three types of ponies.
Only the ponies were good guys. I didn't know there were bad guy ponies.
Well, no, they're definitely bad guy ponies. That's definitely a thing.
Oh, there weren't any bad Care Bears. I think.
I don't give a shit about Care Bears. I'm talking about My Little Pony. No, I'm talking about My Little Pony. So anyway, Tempest, she's cool. I like her horn or lack thereof. Like she has cool powers. She's intimidating. She's cool. I like her a lot. However, the other one, who, oh god, his name is the Storm King. He is the big bad, the main villain, and he's super unintimidating. Like he's really dull. Like he's like one of those guys who is just like, how do I describe this? He's kind of a goof. Like those people who is just like, I'm the big bad, look at me. He's trying. The first time you meet him, he's talking into this like into this like cauldron thing that's basically just a phone. And he's just like, I can't see anything. Where are you? And it's just like, down here, sir. I don't see anything. Can you hear me? Tempest, Tempest, where are you? And it's like, down here, sir, to your right, to your right. And then he finally looks to the right and he's like, oh, there you are. So I need your help because I'm the Storm King, but I can't make actual storms. I need your help to make storms.
How do you become Storm King if you have no storms?
I don't know. See, that's the thing is he just named himself Storm King, but he can't actually do that.
I don't know if you just do that. I feel like there's some credentials,
I
like
agree.
You can't just go around calling yourself Sub-Zero if you can't freeze things.
I agree. But he does end up getting storm powers, kind of, sort of. He drains all of the princesses of Ponyville, or not Pony, of Equestria, of their magic.
I know what that is. That's the country they live in.
Yes, that's the country they live in. He drains all of the princesses. There's 4 of them.
There's 4
of their
princesses
magic.
in one country?
Yes, and there's no queen.
That's not how monarchies work.
They're all princesses, and it doesn't make any sense. Also, the way that they become princesses also doesn't make sense. I don't want to go into that.
I kind of want to know, how do you become a princess?
Okay, so you basically have to, in order to become a princess, you basically have to discover a new form of magic, and not just like some.
Well, that's a rigged system.
Yeah, I agree, but not just some weak form of magic. Like we're talking like powerful ass shit. So like the main one is Princess Celestia.
I know that name. I knew that one.
And she has the power to raise the sun.
Oh,
she has sun powers.
I thought for sure you were gonna say raise the dead, and I was like, dude, that is that is metal as fuck for little ponies.
She raises the sun every morning. With her horn. Like it's not like she doesn't like carry it or anything.
That would have been cool too.
Yeah. And then there's her sister Luna, who controls the moon.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
That was fortuitous naming on her parents' part.
Right. And then there is Cadence, or actually her name is Princess Miyamore Cadenza. I can't believe I know all this shit.
I'm impressed.
Goddamn. Princess Miyamore Cadenza, who has the power of love. Like she can like make people fall in love, but it's not in a mean way. Yeah, I know, but it actually is like she never uses it for evil as far as we've ever seen.
Yeah, that we've ever seen.
Yeah. I hope she uses that shit for some fucked up fetishes, but that's just me. Anyway, and then there's Twilight Sparkle. She is a princess because she discovered the magic of friendship. That's her that is her whole jam. She created a spell that like harnessed the power of friendship, and it was so powerful that they named her a princess. And she also got wings. When you become a princess, you become an alicorn, which is a unicorn and a Pegasus at the same time.
What if you aren't already a unicorn? What if you don't have a horn already? You just become a flying horse?
I don't know. No, I'm pretty sure you would be given a horn. Oh. That'd be my guess. But it's never happened,
feels like a class
so I have no idea.
I'm feeling a caste system.
Speaking of, okay, so there's 3 types of ponies. There is unicorns, which have a horn, obviously, but and the horns allow them to perform magic. There are Pegasus, which have wings, which allows them to fly, and there are Earth ponies, who don't have anything.
Okay, so those are the untouchables then? Okay, actually, hang on a minute. This system's totally rigged, because if you can't do magic because you don't have a horn, you can't become a princess. That's some bullshit, dude. That is some serious culling of the herd, no pun intended. Because
I don't like it either.
That's no fair.
Pretty shitty.
That's no fair.
It's pretty I agree. It's pretty shitty, and I don't know what to do with
Rainbow Dash supposed to be a princess now? Because she doesn't have a horn, right?
She does not have a horn.
Okay, then.
Correct.
How is she supposed to be a princess, Adam? Answer me that.
I mean, I guess she can... She can't.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
well, I don't even want to watch now. Because my favorite pony, the one that I know, is not going to be a princess. And that's all I wanted for her.
Dude, if any of them deserves to be a princess, it's a motherfucking Rarity, because she would be the most prissy little shit of a princess
I don't know
that's ever been a princess. What?
I don't know who
Rarity?
That one is.
You don't know Rarity? Rarity is she's an Earth pony. No, she's not Earth. She's a unicorn. And she can, and she's like a seamstress. Like, she's obsessed with fashion.
So she's gonna make
That's another
magic.
thing that doesn't really make sense about the My Little Pony universe is that they wear clothes
They do.
sometimes. That's the thing is they do sometimes. Like most of the time they don't bother wearing clothes, but there are clothes in the universe, and all of them have worn clothes at different points, like for like fancy occasions and shit.
Interesting.
But they spend the majority of their time not wearing clothes. And so I don't understand like what their policy is on nudity or
Clearly, it's
like
very liberal because
yeah, I mean, I guess. It's
Well, I
really
imagine
weird
you don't
with
see any
Rarity.
horse dongers hanging out or anything, so I'm sure it's not a problem.
No, no. Well, I mean, like 80% of the cast is
Do they
female,
have
so
any dude
that's
horses?
there are a few, but not very many. Like almost the entire
Are they
like
prized like men
population
in
is
Amazon
female.
society?
Not no, not as far as we've been
Oh,
told.
okay.
They're
We're not
they're
privy to the
mostly
mating
used
habits of the ponies.
they're mostly used to do like menial labor.
Oh, so they're a slave race. Okay. All right. So caste systems and slavery. Wow. What good moral
Yeah.
lessons the show teaches Adam.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty fucked up. But Jesus Christ, I've just been talking about the show and
Oh,
not
yes,
the
I'm sorry.
actual
Please go on
movie.
about the movie.
So, I liked Tempest. She was cool. I hated the main villain. And the other thing that's really weird about this movie, and the thing that was probably my biggest annoyance, I didn't like the animation. Okay, so the animation, this movie is really, really pretty. It's very, very well animated. It's gorgeous. However, it's too well animated. Like, all of the characters look fine until they start talking. It's weird. Okay, in the show, they can't spend a whole lot of time like animating their face, specifically their mouths. Like they do a decent job, but it's not like they spend an outrageous amount of time making sure that every single word is perfectly animated perfectly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where like
Sure.
you can see every F and every syllable that they are making with their mouths, but you can see that in this movie. So it's like, how do I describe it? It's like their mouths don't act right. It's like they're moving their mouths way more often than you're used to seeing, and so it's really, really distracting. Like I can't. It was really hard for me to watch all of these characters and be like, every time they talk, which is like 90% of the time, it's just like, that mouth looks weird. I don't like it. It looks okay on everybody who isn't the main six, the main characters. Like everyone else looks okay, but those six just look weird as fuck. Especially Twilight. Oh my god. She just looks weird. I don't know how to describe it other than it looks wrong. Like,
I mean,
and I
without
don't
having
like
a
it.
strong knowledge of what pony faces look like, I don't know if I'd be able to agree or disagree. But if it bothers you,
Yeah,
then I suppose it must be true.
I'll tell you this: if you were to watch the show, like several episodes of the show, and then I made you watch the movie, you could tell. Like you would be able to be like, something's up with their faces. Like there's something's up with their mouths when they talk. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like my guess is that it's the over enunciation, but all I know is that it looks fucking weird as fuck, and I hate it.
Interesting.
But other than that, I think that the animation was really good. I like the backgrounds and stuff were like absolutely gorgeous. It was super colorful. Like it was a good movie. The other problem that the film has, in my opinion, is the plot, which is not bad. It's just forgettable. Like it's just fine. So the basic plot is the ponies are doing their pony thing in what's the fucking place called?
Equestria.
Not Equestria. Well, yes, Equestria. That's the
Ponyville.
not Ponyville. It's I can't think of the name of it. Not Manhattan. What the
I'm
fuck
sorry,
is this?
Manhattan?
Yeah,
Is that a
that's
horsehair pun?
yes, that's exact. Well, the main characters are called the main six. Do you get it?
Oh, I get it.
Do
I
you
get
get
it.
it? Yeah, yeah. Like That's a thing that's in the show. God damn it, I can't think of the stupid. Whatever. I can't think of the name of the city they're in for some
I'll
stupid
think up
reason.
my own
But
pun and just put it in there.
all right, that'll work. So they're doing their thing in this place, and then the Storm King's minions attack, including Tempest. They capture three of the princesses, and then Twilight and the other main six have to go south in order to try to get help from the hippogriffs or the whatever. Yeah, hippogriffs. But they don't know they're called the hippogriffs because they only heard like a portion of the conversation. Like right before she was getting frozen solid in like this weird crust crap, Celestia was just like, "Go get the hippo," and then like she was cut off. So like the whole time they're trying to find the hippos and they can't find the hippos, and it's like, oh wait, they mean the hippogriffs. So they go south and then they go on a bunch of adventures, yada 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 yada. Let's see all the shit that happens. They befriend a cat person in this one city, and then he betrays them, but he feels bad about it. Then they go on on a airship that used to be a pirate airship, and then they convince the pirates to become pirates again. And then they find the hippogriffs who have now turned into fish people
What's this, a fucking Final
because
Fantasy game?
they find the hippogriffs who have now turned into fish people using
Of
magic,
course.
and then they all turn into fish
Oh, of
people.
course. Would they be mer horses then? Seahorses. Are they
Yeah,
seahorses?
see, I guess I think so. I think that's what they were trying to be. Yeah, they're seahorses. Okay, really, what they are is, hey, look it. All of the main characters have been changed slightly, so now we can sell you more toys.
Uh, Bath toys this
Yeah.
time.
Yes. Oh God.
Okay, so I have to ask, and I don't know why I have to ask, but I feel like I need to. So what is the villain's plan?
In this movie,
Yeah.
the villain's plan is his name is the Storm King,
Mm-hmm.
and because his name is the Storm King, which is the name he gave himself,
Yep.
he wants to be able to control the weather. He wants to have storm powers.
Okay.
So, in order to do that, he has a staff,
Right.
and that staff he's trying to put magic into the staff. So he drains all of the magical power from the four princesses, and that gives him all of their powers. So he can mess
Oh,
with the sun
okay.
and the moon.
Gotcha. I was
He can
wondering
mess
what
with
the
the
kidnapping was for, but I get you now.
yeah. He was
So he
messing with the
sucks
sun
out
and the
all their
moon.
moon and sun and love powers.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and friendship. Don't
Oh,
forget
okay. I
friendship.
thought you said only three, so I wasn't sure if friendship was
No,
included or not.
okay. He had three, but apparently the spell wouldn't work unless he had all four of the
Of
princesses, which
course.
didn't make any sense to me.
Of
But
course.
whatever. That's actually something else that
Because the
bothered
spell
me.
likes to spell check to see if all four princesses are around.
So apparently the spell only works if you have all four princesses, which doesn't make any sense to me because he only needs the powers of two of them. He doesn't need love or friendship powers. He only needs the sun and moon powers. Oh,
Well,
and somehow
neither of
that
those are
also
storms anyway, but let's not nitpick.
okay, yeah, that's actually what's really weird is so he drains them all of their power, and then he's messing with the sun and the moon for a bit. Like he's like daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime. Yes, he literally says that.
I would
And
too.
yes, I hate him. I hate him so much. But he's like daytime, nighttime, and then he makes a storm somehow. I
By
don't
combining the sun and the moon, it makes lightning.
get it.
Duh.
I don't get it. I don't know what he
No,
did
obviously it's
to
love
make a
plus
storm.
something else equals storms.
Yeah, I don't know, but he did it. He's making a storm. Yeah. What was I saying?
Storms.
So they meet the fish people and they turn into fish and they turn into seahorses,
Right, right.
and then Twilight is just like, "Oh, we can use that thingy that you used to turn us into seahorses against the bad guys,"
To turn them into
which doesn't
seahorses.
which okay, I don't understand what her plan was. Like I don't get what she wanted to do with this thing. It's like this pearl thing that turns you into a seahorse, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool and all.
Maybe they
But
wanted to eat him.
why do you need that? It doesn't do anything. Um at least nothing useful. It's not like it's a weapon or
They
anything.
could turn him into a seahorse and
So
let him suffocate on the
but
air.
but then Twilight tries to steal it, and then she is kicked out of this seahorse area with all of her friends, and her friends are very mad at her because she tried to steal this pearl thing. And then Twilight is captured by the bad guys so they can go and drain her magical power away. And then the rest of the main six, along with the pirates and some of the fish people who are now no longer fish people, they're back to being hippogriffs, and just a couple of them, and also the cat person that I mentioned before. All of them go back to the one city whose name I still can't think of, and they fight and they save the day. And then Tempest, and then you find out that Tempest, the only reason that she's evil is because when she was a child, she was playing with a ball with her friends, and then the ball went into the cave of a bear thing, and then the bear thing attacked Tempest when she tried to get her ball back, and then in the attack she lost her horn, and she was so mad about this that she became evil.
I see.
Which
okay, this might be a dumb question, but don't those kinds of things like grow back?
No, apparently. I guess.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well, are they born with them, like fully grown?
I mean, yeah. I think so. Yeah, they're born with them. Like, it's not something that like shows up later. It's something that you have
Interesting.
as a child. So.
Well, that seems like poor evolution at the very least.
Yeah,
Deer lose their antlers every season,
know.
But let's Seems like magic could be required to fix this.
But deer do not perform magical spells.
All the more reason why they should be able to be fixed, though. If they have magic, they should just be able to, poof a new horn on there,
Yeah.
Because when you become a princess or whatever, I imagine you don't just do it, right? Somebody has to, give you the wings and the horn, yeah?
Oh God, it's been a while. Not sort of, kind of, not really. It's really.
You don't have to get a permission slip signed by 3 boss dungeons or something.
It was really weird and vague the way that happened. So Twilight performed this spell after she. It doesn't matter how she did it, but basically she performed this spell and then she disappeared in a flash of light, and then she was in space. Or in some sort of void dimension, and then Celestia was there, and Celestia's just I'm so proud of you. You performed this amazing thing, and then Twilight's just thank you so much. What am I doing here? And she's just well, you performed this amazing spell, and you know what that means. And Twilight's no, I really don't. And she's just well, now you become a princess just like me. And then Twilight, it didn't seem, from what I remember, it didn't seem like it was Celestia who did it. It just seemed suddenly Twilight erupted in a bunch of light, and then she suddenly had wings. I don't remember. It didn't appear that it was Celestia's doing, but it could have been. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, well, either way, magic should be able to solve this problem, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree. But
just Oculus Reparo that shit.
I'm trying to shut up. I'm trying to summarize my thoughts on this movie. It was okay. It was a slightly above average episode of the show. It was just it's good, it's fine, and the songs are fun, and the characters are likable, and the plot's cool, and the animation's nice. But I don't know. The villain was pretty weak. And some of the choices that were made in regards to the characters was a little bit odd. So especially Twilight, remember how I mentioned that she tried to steal that pearl thing?
Yep.
At this point in Twilight's development, it's really weird that she would try to do that. She's not someone who just steals things even when she needs them. She barely even tried to negotiate. She didn't really try to convince them that she needed their help. She's just we need your help, and they're just no, and she's okay, and then 20 minutes later she tried to steal their shit. It's Twilight, this seems really out of character for you. And there's a couple other characters too that I wouldn't say that they act out of character, but it's like they're barely there. Like or not Fluttershy, Applejack, and there was one other one. And Rarity. They basically don't do anything throughout the entire movie. They're kind of just around to occasionally make comments from the background. Like they don't contribute to the plot in any meaningful way. They're just there. Like, it's just like, I mean, okay, I guess, but I don't know. I felt the movie could have been a lot better. And considering how long the movie was in development, and like, I mean, this is a movie. You'd think that you could do better than just a above average episode of the show, you know? Like, I wanted something epic. I wanted something truly awesome and amazing. I didn't quite get that. But it wasn't bad, what I got. It was just fine. It was serviceable.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, and this is really like a thing that's been bothering me for a long time. I just have to get this off my chest. There are these other movies, like the Equestria Girls movies, where like they go into this alternate dimension where they're all humans. Okay,
Sure.
I just just trust me. There's reasons for it. It's dumb, but whatever. Just trust me. There's like this movie series where it's like all of the characters, but they're now humanoid instead of ponies. And I'm really annoyed that they still have not made a movie where those two universes like meet each other. Like they haven't had a point where like I wanted to see like pony Twilight and human Twilight talk to each other. Like in those two forms, and I want to see all of them meet each other, and I want to see the worlds collide. I have been waiting for that shit for years, and they still haven't done it, and I don't understand why it's taking them so long. I mean, they've made 4 Equestria Girls movies, and they still haven't made a movie where the worlds collide. What the fucking hell is this shit? Like, I can't even do this. Like, stop it. Okay, I'm good now.
Okay.
Okay. So, would you like to do random encounters?
Yes, please. Why don't you go ahead and explain it to the kids at home?
Okay. So, random encounters is when we take 2 sort of random characters and we put them in a sort of random encounter, like it's a challenge of some kind. Something like a pie eating contest, a battle to the death, a race around the world, what have you. And we decide who would win. And it's all for fun and games. It's not official or anything. We don't do research. It's just 2 nerds talking about who we think would win in a random encounter. So, and I typically pick my characters based on what we talked about in today's episode. Big thing we talked about was the Last Jedi trailer. So I'm going to go with Kylo Ren.
Okay.
Kylo Ren.
I have Aquaman.
You're going to go with Justice League Aquaman? Do it.
All right, then I will.
Do it. Do the Justice League Aquaman. The badass one.
Okay. Well, that is a serious disadvantage to you then, because the contest is who's hotter.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so you just signed your own death warrant, friendo.
No! No! I can't argue this. I mean, I think Adam Driver is a, reasonably handsome young man, but he's no Jason Momoa.
Nope.
Like, sorry, buddy. Like, that sucks. Yeah, no question that you win that one.
Point in Steve's corner.
Okay, well, I'm going to do Punisher. Specifically, the Netflix Punisher.
Okay. I got Jason Brody from Far Cry 3.
Oh! Wow, we haven't had that one in a long time. Damn.
Okay. So, let's say the contest here... Drinking contest.
Drinking contest between...
I don't remember if Jason drank much during his time on the island.
No, but he was like a college student, so we can reasonably assume that he was he was like a party boy college student.
He was.
We can assume that he drank quite a bit. And Punisher drinks a lot of coffee, from what I remember.
Yeah, well, Punisher also drinks to dull the pain, so...
Yeah,
I think Punisher... Punisher's more of a maintained drunk, and I think Jason would be much more of a blackout drunk. So, it's quantity versus quality, I think, on this one.
I also feel like Punisher is more, what's the word? in control of himself to the point that he'd be able to handle being drunk much
I'm gonna
better
go with
than
Punisher on
Brody
this one.
could. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Punisher. I think Punisher could drink him under the table. He's a strong, badass, manly man. He can take care of himself,
True, true.
including he can hold his liquor. Okay, so I want to do Spawn, but I don't know enough about Spawn to do that. So, Batman,
Okay. Well, I
Batman.
got Corvo from Dishonored, so those are pretty similar.
They're yeah, they actually are pretty similar. It's cool.
And the contest. Okay, well you just win.
Oh,
The
sweet.
contest is who has the better enemy. Corvo has a pretty shit
Oh,
rogues gallery,
yes.
whereas Batman has some of the
Oh,
best villains.
yes. I would say that Batman has the best comic book villains of any
Hmm.
superhero ever. The
Whereas
only
Corvo
person
has like a bunch of royal jackoffs.
I would say that the only superhero who's even close to Batman in terms of like villains is Spider-Man. That's like the only one who's even kind of close. And even that I feel is still inferior to Joker, Two-Face, Harley Quinn. Like oh my god, Riddler, fucking shit, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, my god, it just goes on and on. Like there's no fucking way. Batman wins easily.
Easily.
Oh,
Now, if
I
I had
won
that the
this.
other way around, I would have had Jason for that challenge. Vaz is pretty good villain. It would have been a harder challenge. I still would have given it to Batman, but Vaz is a lot better than whoever the bad guy is from Dishonored.
Oh yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're talking about Brody. Yeah, that would have been better, definitely. I mean, Voss is awesome, but like Voz's boss is really lame. I
That's
don't
true.
remember his
That the
name.
main actual villain is really bad, but I
Yeah.
don't count him as the real villain since Vaz is on the goddamn cover of the box.
All right. Ugh, I can't speak. Those are the complaints this week. If you can't complain, share it with your friends. Bye.